You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And I wonder, day to day, I don't like you.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Also known as Chat Lives Matter Night, right here on KLRM Radio. We're the opening act for the evening. I'm Rick Robinson. She's Stacey Lennox. And this is the Whatever Show. And, boy, oh boy, is there enough news that we could probably take up the entire night? Yes. Are we going to do that? No, because we have other acts on after us. Thank God, because I've already done 2 hours of radio today, and I will be, in one form or another, involved in the next 4. But here we are. We're live. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday night, and thank you for joining us. And, Stacey, what's new with you?
I'm just sitting here drinking tea.
Unleaded or leaded?
Unleaded.
You're no fun.
I've lived the unleaded life since the last time I was in the ER with my gallopy heart. So.
I keep forgetting about that, so I will. Try to quit teasing you so much, because Mother Nature said, no more booze for you.
No more booze and no more caffeine for you. Everything you have run on to this point in your life is now no longer an option.
I mean, it's still an option. You just probably...
Well, it's an option. I want to feel like shit.
Probably eventually burn out, but, you know.
Yeah. So... Okay, Joe Budden is trending in the United States.
I don't even know if I want to know.
Yes, Joe Budden. That'll be the typo that brings Trump down and conclusively proves he's senile. Meanwhile, Budden is sharp as a tack. Apparently, Donald Trump misspelled as Crooked Joe Budden instead of Biden.
Oh, come on. Who doesn't have... That's half the reason why I pay for the friggin' edit feature on X. Who the hell isn't, like, furiously typing with your thumbs on your phone?
So here's the Truth Social post. From the Republican nominee for president. I am not running to terminate the ACA as Crooked Joe Budden disinformates and misinformates all the time. I'm running to close the border, stop inflation, make our economy great, strengthen our military, and make the ACA or Obamacare as it is known much better, stronger, and far less expensive. In other words, make the ACA much, much better and far less money or cost to our gressed American citizens who have been decimated by Biden, his record inflation, bad economy, Afghanistan catastrophe, and just about everything else. Crooked Joe Biden is by far the worst president in the history of the United States. MAGA 2024.
Okay, so if I can ask a question, why the fuck is he not running to repeal the ACA? Because that's been my biggest beef with the Republican Party since the ACA got passed. You guys originally ran on, if you give us Congress back, we will get rid of this monstrosity. And then, once you got Congress back, well, what we meant was, we're going to repeal it and we're going to replace it. No, nobody asked you to repeal it and replace it. You ran on getting rid of it. We sent you there. Then you moved the goalpost yourselves. This is the same issue that I have with this money monstrosity that I'm going to be breaking down on Tuesday, that they are sneaking past the American people. Because with Republicans like these, we don't got to worry about the Democrats. Our own people are selling us down the river. So now, again, Mr. I was for abortion before I was against it, now I'm for it again, is now, well, I'm not really trying to do anything about the ACA other than make it better. You can't make it better. It's trash. It's the framework to push us towards socialized medicine, just like DEI in all its glory is a framework to push us towards universal basic income, because they're going to start pricing everybody out of jobs. It's what they want to do. They want you sitting at home, dependent on them for where you live, what you get to do with your time, if you get to do anything with your time, and what you get to drive if you're lucky enough to be able to own a car. Because they want the same model that China has right now. China has, and I talked about this afternoon, China has a social credit score now to where if you piss them off, they can kick you out of, they can make it impossible to find somewhere to live. They can turn off your car. They can repossess your car. They can fire you. And then to get back in their good graces, you have to find out what they want you to do as an indentured servant until you've made them happy again. That's what these people want, and it's both sides. This is why I am now of the firm belief that it is time to throw all the labels away, even the labels we like. And by labels, I mean the names they call us, the names we call each other, and all the warning labels on products, because Darwin needs to sort some shit out too. Just saying. So when I say remove all the labels, I literally mean all of them.
And the No Labels Party has been a complete disaster. And the third way, which I thought was RFK, but clowned himself yesterday. So we're just fucked.
Yeah, harder than the Amish guy behind Circle K, and not in a good way.
I mean, who is this woman that RFK decided was going to be his vice president? Like, what happened to some kind of unity ticket or reaching across the aisle? She is like a far left wingnut who practices druidism.
Well, can I put my tinfoil hat on for a second?
Yeah.
I kind of think that RFK has made a deal with the Trump group to swing as far left as possible and try to take as many of those people out as he can to pull from Biden so that Trump wins the day. I think those two have some backroom dealing going on. I really do, because I mean it's no secret, because we didn't find it out until we were able to do the forensic deep dive way back in the day when Papa Paul ran. He didn't pull from the Republicans the way all the talking heads told us that he did. He actually pulled from the Democrats, which tells you exactly how bad that position was for the Republicans. But I honestly think that he's trying to fix it, and it may not even be a backroom deal with Trump. The Biden administration and the Biden campaign is trying so hard to take him out that I think he's set his guns on taking them out instead.
Maybe, but I guess I'm just a little disappointed because, can you talk for a minute? I need to go on mute.
Sure. Yeah, I can definitely talk for a minute. Because, yeah, speaking of no labels, I broke this story on Twitchy a minute ago, but if you hadn't heard, Joe Lieberman passed away today at the age of 82, and actually was best known as Al Gore's running mate in 2000, lost favor with his party after he and Al Gore couldn't deliver the 2000 election, was primaried in 2004, resurrected his career by running as an independent, actually was reelected, and recently was actually one of the driving forces behind the No Labels Party, which, despite the fact that I may be saying we don't need labels, doesn't mean I agree with that party. I will say that Lieberman was probably one of the last of a dying breed in American politics, because he really did, towards the end of his career, try to be a centrist. And it was really hard to write that story up, because I was trying to remain positive and neutral, and a lot of Democrats were spewing vitriol and everything that I could find, so I left that out. But yeah, while I am saying that we need to start getting rid of the labels that we not only call ourselves, but the labels that we allow other people to call us, because in my opinion, the only label that we should give a damn about is being Americans, and we need to figure out how to keep America alive, because, ladies and gentlemen, the country that you and I grew up in, the country that we thought we were living in even back then, never really existed, and it's time for us to get back to what our founding fathers envisioned. And I talked about some of this today on the afternoon show, because the government is now telling you what the American dream is, and all of the American dream that they're selling you is a lie. The American dream, the only thing it ever promised was your ability to have your life and your liberty, and to pursue happiness in whatever way you deemed was happiness. Now again, there are some crossing points there. So if your idea of happiness is serial killer, we don't want none of that. So go to Haiti. Go there. You can even eat what you killed. They do that all the time over there, apparently. But my whole point with this is we need to get back to the center of what it means to be a citizen of this country. We have lost track of that. Citizenship no longer matters, because they're importing voters now and doing everything they can to first allow them to vote in local elections, and then it'll become state elections, and then it'll become federal elections. And if it gets to that, then it's going to be too little too late. So it is time, and I said this afternoon too, it is time for you to decide where your Rubicon point is. If you still have some room left for you, then draw that line wherever it is and keep watching as they get closer and closer to it. If you, like me, have found that they passed your Rubicon point about 2 or 3 elections ago, and the only saving grace for about 3 out of the last 4 years before Biden was Donald Trump, then it's time to pick a side. Because it doesn't matter anymore whether they're the perfect candidate or not. It doesn't matter anymore if they align with 100% of your beliefs. It doesn't matter anymore if they check all of your boxes. What matters is, are they going to start empowering you to be a free American again? Donald Trump tried to do that from 2017 to 2021, and towards the end of his 4 years was taken out by his own establishment and in some cases his own party. So we need to the establishment, not his establishment. I guess I should fix that. But we need to figure out where we stand, because Joe Biden is already taking steps, because if he loses, he's already taking steps to make sure that Donald Trump cannot do what is happening in another country where they just let go of 78,000 government employees. Donald Trump wants to do that kind of stuff here. Joe Biden is taking steps to stop him in case he loses. So I have to ask you again, who's the actual dictator? Who is the one that has enabled his DOJ and district attorneys and attorneys general who have his same party affiliation to go after Donald Trump with everything that they can possibly create to throw at him? You want to know how I know the 2020 election was stolen? There's your first clue. If it was a fair, legitimate, actual election, they wouldn't have been trying to take the guy out at the knees. It wouldn't matter who it is at this point, because they don't want anyone that doesn't have their ideology to get a look behind the curtain anymore, because they've done so many things that we probably don't even know about. And yet here we are. Over and over and over again, it's the same thing. Now, what upsets me is you have the GOP supposedly running as the opposition party, but every time we put them in a position to be the opposition party, they do everything the non-opposition party wants them to do, because they're like their cozy little brother, and they just want to get along with them, and they want to have access to all the power, and the money, and the glory. And you're back.
I actually thought Steve Deace had a good take on this today. The actual difference between right and left.
Where the money goes?
No. They focus on leverage and we focus on access. So we tend not to call out or get real ugly or push the agenda that we want because, our leaders are afraid they won't go to this conference, they won't get this speaking engagement, this person won't endorse their book, whatever. It's access. Whereas, as we saw with Ronna McDaniel, the left cares about leverage, and they're going to go after whoever's in charge if they step out of line or don't go along with the program, and they're going to call them out, and they're going to make it impossible for somebody else's way to happen.
Well, we saw this happen in real time this week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the irony is it seems like the one thing that the left and the right can both agree on is nobody wants Ronna Romney.
Yeah, wow. I'd take Kevin McCarthy back after this week.
Me too. But remember, I was the guy telling everybody they were making a huge mistake and that...
I was telling everybody they were making a huge mistake too. So was Chip Roy. So were a lot of people with a freaking brain. Unfortunately, Matt Gaetz is not one of those people. And he is going to pay no political price for dragging the party down this road and giving us a, one-seat majority at this point?
Before November, I don't even think we'll have a majority anymore. I kind of think that's the plan. They're gonna basically give it away one seat at a time until we get Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, and then he's gonna move to not certify the vote if Trump wins. You know how I know? Because every time they've lost since 2000, they've moved to not certify the vote. But when Donald Trump says something about not certifying the vote, oh my God, that's insurrection! I mean, do you guys forget how loudly they screamed for weeks during the 2000 election that it was stolen, that they stopped counting because they didn't like the results in Florida? Not because there was an actual issue, which everybody found out later, but all because we didn't like the outcome. And then, once the Supreme Court made a decision, then all of a sudden it was that Bush wasn't elected, he was elected. And every time they have lost since. Even with Stacey Abrams in Georgia. If Stacey Abrams doesn't win, this election will be stolen. So in 2020, because they won, we had the most fair and secure elections ever. But because Donald Trump is back on the ticket and they're afraid they're going to lose. Oh my God, if Donald Trump loses, or Donald Trump wins, you mark my words, this will be another stolen election just like 2016. So it's okay to talk about stolen elections again? That's what you're telling us? Because when our side does it, we're traitors. When our side does it, we're terrorists. But when you guys do it, you're standing up for democracy. And the funny thing about this whole standing up for democracy thing is Joe Biden is actively trying to throw the leader of the opposition party in jail. He's kneecapping RFK Jr., or doing everything he can to try to kneecap RFK Jr., and I don't really care what happens to either one of them, to be honest, because I'm tired of us trying to put people in office that shouldn't, as you've said quite often, and it's actually started to catch on a little bit, I'm tired of sending people to D.C. that shouldn't be buying green bananas. And yet, we keep doing it over and over again. Thanks, boomers. Love you, mean it. Not really.
Well, I do love them, but they just need to stop.
You have to love them because your parents are boomers.
I know, but they just need to stop.
See, my parents aren't boomers because they're the generation. What, they're a generation between boomers and X? I thought there was. Maybe no. I guess I'm wrong. So I guess my parents are technically boomers too, but I don't care because my dad's a Republican boomer and I don't talk to my mom. So. But yeah.
Something weird just came across my screen.
I didn't do it.
It's some woman making a recipe with chicken brains.
No thanks.
I was going to say, you'd have to have a lot of chicken brains, I think, to make a meal.
Yeah, but I mean, they are supposedly dinosaurs, and they never really had very big brains to begin with, and now they're in a lot smaller bodies, so, just saying. But yeah, chicken brains. Who the? Ooh, although, I guess it's better than eating crickets. Looking at you, Bill Gates. Fucking bastard.
Right? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that I could not be looking any less forward to this election.
Is it December yet? Is it over? What day's election day this year? Is it like November 3rd? I think it's November 3rd.
I don't even know.
I think it's November 3rd. But I'm not sure. But anyway. And so
I don't even know. I guess I'm going to have to figure it out before it actually happens. But yeah.
No, it'll be November 5th. This is the first Tuesday, so it'll be November 5th this year. So yeah, I'm ready for November 6th. And
yeah, my birthday's after the end of the world, and I'm leaning towards Lundbeck's predictions.
I didn't get a chance to listen to his hour 3 yesterday, and I was going to go back and listen to it today, and then got busy dealing with other stuff.
Yeah, no, he just went through what he thinks will be the 3-stage process, and we'll see if we even get to an election.
Yeah, I actually am, and I've been saying this publicly for a while. With as much as they've been trying to project the idea that Donald Trump was never going to leave office, I think I think they pulled that pin a little too early, because I'm pretty sure they were letting us know that they have no plans for Joe Biden or the Democrats to ever leave office again. So, while on one hand I think they're starting to try to work things behind the scenes to make sure that if there is an attempt at a peaceful transition of power, that Hakeem Jeffries actually has control of the House at that point. Because, again, neither side gives a crap about either you, me, or anybody else other than their donors. And that's just becoming more and more apparent. And again, I would like to thank Matt Gaetz for the debacle that we are looking at right now. And the weirdest thing is, for a few weeks, Johnson seemed like he was going to try to do the right thing. And then I don't know what changed, other than apparently there is a big lump sum of cash in there somewhere going straight to his office. So I'm pretty sure that probably had something to do with it. At least from some of this stuff. I have not been able to do a deep dive on that bill the way I wanted to, so If I can find a copy of it still, I plan on doing that over the weekend. Because, yeah, I am over all of this. And again, just as a reminder, we could have had DeSantis, but we can't have DeSantis now. But Florida gets to keep DeSantis. And guess what DeSantis did today? DeSantis signed groundbreaking legislation to remove squatters' rights within the state of Florida.
I just need to understand why this is groundbreaking.
Because no other state has it.
But how did it ever occur to anyone that you should be able to walk into your own home after a vacation or a house you've inherited and are trying to sell, find people living in it that you never made a rental agreement with, and you don't have every right to have them forcibly removed and prosecuted?
Left-leaning district attorneys.
I get that, but job number one of the government, the reason you were established was to protect private property rights.
Well, so here's the thing with that, though. I mean, you have to understand, this has been common law for as long as there's been a common law. Physical possession is 9/10 of the law. It always has been. So they found a way to twist that. But there's a reason they found a way to twist that. This goes back to everything that we were talking about in the beginning of the show when we started, when we've been telling everybody for forever that their whole idea is to pigeonhole you into a 15-minute city. They're going to tell you where you have to live, where you have to work. You're going to be lucky if you get to own a car because everything that you're ever going to need is supposedly within 15 minutes by foot. This is all part of that. If they can, they have started pricing people out of homes. Now they're starting to price people out of being able to rent homes. Now they're making it impossible for even the companies that own rental homes to get rid of people that are squatters or the individuals who are lucky enough in this economy to still be able to own a home. They're basically making it impossible for them to keep the home, because now if you go on vacation for 2 weeks, you're going to be lucky if you come back and there's not somebody in your house, and it's going to take you 6 months to a year and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them out of your home. This is all part of the same thing. This is all happening by design. They don't want us to own anything. You will own nothing and you will be happy. This is the only way that they can do that. But there's another reason why they're starting to do it, and it's something that doesn't get taught in school anymore. Assets are really your only way to build lasting wealth. And that's why they want everybody to basically lease and rent and be happy, because then you can't own anything. You have no real wealth-building potential, and then you're dependent on whatever job you have for every scrap that you're able to hold on to until they figure out a way to kill that. Thank you, $20 an hour minimum wage in California, because most everybody in California is about to not be able to work now because nobody's going to be able to afford to pay them, because they're trying to make us dependent and beholden upon them. All of this is happening in a way that we didn't understand in time, that we couldn't see in time, and now we're under attack on every facet, of what makes this country what it once was, all at once, all at the same time, and we're losing. And DeSantis doing what DeSantis did is about the only way that anything's ever going to change. But when you have a Democratic governor, Democratic-led legislation, and Democratic DAs, nobody's going to want to pursue that anyway. I mean, hell, in New York City, I just saw a news story put out today of 10 or 12 different women just, reporting to people that they basically were walking down the street and getting punched in the face, and they tried to tell the cops, and the cops wouldn't do anything. Is it true or not? I don't know, because there's not much corroboration to go with it. But what's going on in New York City right now, it wouldn't surprise me. It's all the same thing. It's all about control. It's fear leads to us giving up control. Not being able to hold on to our own assets eventually leads to us giving up control. It's all the same thing. It's all tied to you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah, except no.
Well, I didn't say I agreed with it. I'm just telling you that's what they're trying to do. And
I'm just saying, yeah, no. If I come home from vacation and I find someone in my house, I understand possession is 9/10 of the law until you have something like a deed. Okay? I own this shit. You don't have to be present in it once you own this shit anymore. That's been pretty well established outside of common law. you're getting out of my house. That's just the way it is. And I believe Georgia has had an eviction thing. Like if you take somebody to court and are trying to evict them and they haven't paid rent in 30 days, they're out. That's like a state law. Even the blue jurisdictions can't cut it up too much.
No, I get it.
So,
all right. Well, believe it or not, we're halfway through.
I
so we should
just
probably take a
find
break.
the whole idea that this poor woman in New York has her parents' home that she inherited, okay? She walks in it with her daughter. There's people there that she never gave permission to live there. And now we've got freaking, migrants coming over the border and think they can just squat in people's homes. Like if you're gone for work for the day, it's all of a sudden theirs. Like, what are you talking about? People are going to start getting shot, and it's not going to be funny.
It'll be funny to some of us, but those are just the assholes like me. All right, we're going to take a break. We're at the halfway point. Got another segment of the Whatever Show coming at you on the other side of the break. Again, I'm Rick Robinson. She's Stacey Lennox. You're listening to Whatever live right here on KLRNradio.com. Back in a few. Don't forget, as far as I know, full Chat Lives Matter night schedule coming up after us too, so stay tuned. Keep it locked for the next 4 hours. What else you got to do? Except for point and laugh at commies.
Say whatever I like, if it's wrong or right, it's alright. Always seems to me you only see what people want you to see. How long's it gonna be before we get out?
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities. At participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Whatever I like, if it's wrong or right, it's alright. Always seems to me you only see what people want you to see. How long's it gonna be before we get on the bus and cars no fuss and live on yourself?
And welcome back into Whatever. I'm Rick. She's Stacy. We're live every Wednesday night here on KLRN Radio as the opening act for Chat Lives Matter night, 7 p.m. Eastern, or in God's time zone, 6 p.m. Don't at me. Anyway, so we're back. We're live. And surprise, surprise, shortly after the one and only Jon Stewart declared that Donald Trump supposedly overpricing his properties was not a victimless crime, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he's now been accused of overpricing his own property multiple times.
You mean people do that in real estate all the time?
All the time. Dude, it's not even real estate. I mean,
So, you mean if I say my house is worth $500,000, the bank can send in an appraiser who will make their own judgment, and then we negotiate a deal based on such information?
That's how it works, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, and I talked about this today, and this was even before this story broke. You know, this kind of stuff happens all the time. It even happened when my wife and I were buying this house. We just didn't know. So what happened was, because our income level was really close to on the bubble, to get us to get us approved, and they didn't tell us this. To get us approved, they used the valuation from the property when the owner that we were buying it from bought it, which significantly lowered everything to get us across the finish line. But since they never told us, what happened and what threw us into a loop, and I've been fighting with them off and on ever since about this, was because they undervalued the property to get everything the way it needed to go. At the end of the first year in the home, I got an escrow check back, and then 3 months later, I got a notice that my payment was going up by $400 a month because the property taxes were configured wrong, and we had been underpaying for the property for the entire 12 months that we had been in the home. And so now, not only was our payment higher, we also had to make up the amount that they considered we owed them in escrow. And I have been fighting with them ever since. These things happen in real estate all the time. It happens on the bank side. It happens on the people trying to get the loan side. As a matter of fact, it's not even real estate. I have a 2021 Kia Soul that I bought brand new in 2020, right after the 2021 models came out. When the guy who was getting us into the car and already told us we were approved for it, got to look at my final stuff as far as everything before he sent it over to the folks that had already agreed to underwrite the loan. He said, just to make sure we can get you approved, go ahead and add about $100 a month to your income. I was like, excuse me? It's like, yeah, it's fine. People do it all the time. So here's the thing. It happens. It happens all the time. Everybody knows about it. Almost everybody does it. And even Jon Stewart did it while he was railing on Donald Trump for supposedly doing it. This is just how things
People
are.
suck.
Is it wrong? Yeah, probably. Is it something that should be railed about? No, because pretty much anymore, throw a rock, hit a hypocrite. That's pretty much how the world works. Which is why I tend to try to leave stuff like that alone, and why as soon as everybody started talking about, well, can't believe he would have done this, I'm like, well, wait a minute. So this is how this works. You go to the bank, you ask for a loan, you say, this is what I think my property's worth. Then they send out somebody and say, no, this is what we think your property's worth, so this is what we're going to give you instead. So those documents that they're screaming and yelling about how he overinflated his property values on those documents, that's why there's legal disclaimers all over them that say, this is what we value the property at. If you disagree with this valuation, please feel free to send out your own assessor, which they do all the time, which is why this was a non-crime in the first place. There were no victims. The banks actually testified at the hearings that they still wanted to do business with him because in their community he's considered a whale. Which is another reason why the appellate judge just this past Monday said, yeah, no, that bond's excessive. We're going to drop that by quite a bit. Funny how you haven't heard Miss Tish talking about how she was going to get Donald Trump now that the bond's been lowered and he can actually afford to pay it. Because now he gets his appeal. And when he gets his appeal, every single bit of this case is going to get tossed out on its ass. Because there's no foundation. There's no crime.
Here's hoping.
Well, it's going to happen. It has to happen or our republic is done. It's either going to be one of the final steps to making us the dictator state that everybody seems to say they don't want, or it's going to get tossed out because this case made zero sense in the first place. And the weirdest thing about all of this is the only case that I was worried about, really, out of all of these, because they've had to do so much creative work to make everything stick on all of them, was the documents case. But now that Joe Biden was charged with the same thing, and basically they said, yeah, we don't have to deal with that, because he's a nice old man, and nobody's going to want to convict him. That's going to be grounds for an automatic appeal for Donald Trump, no matter what the outcome of that case is. Because it's the same case. And Joe Biden...
I know.
I mean,
what I really want to make an issue of is these people going to the White House and having meetings.
Oh, yeah, that's fun, too. Yeah, I mean, if you want to know whether there's collusion between Joe Biden's White House and these people trying to take out Donald Trump, all you got to do is look at the visitors logs. Because you want to talk about collusion. I mean, that's the other thing that drives me absolutely crazy. That phone call with Zelensky was enough to get Donald Trump impeached. A phone call. But the sitting vice president, who is now president, is actually on video admitting to committing a quid pro quo while he was vice president. But that's not a smoking gun as far as the whole Hunter Biden case is concerned. I have questions. I want to know why Republicans have not pushed to have that video entered as evidence in this entire case. Because why were you trying to get rid of the prosecutor who was going to be looking into your son, sir? Why was that a thing? Why was that already a predetermined outcome to them getting this money? And because they didn't do it yet, you weren't going to let them have the money until they did it. All I want's the truth. If Joe Biden's guilty and he's done the things that they're accusing him of, I hope that at some point they throw every book they can possibly throw at him and that maybe he gets buried under the jail. But before anybody yells at me, I say the same exact thing about Donald Trump. If he's actually done the things that he's been accused of, and it can be proven in a court of law that he did them, and it's not all of this crap that we're looking at right now, then again, throw all the books you want at him. I don't care. I just want the truth. That's the side I'm on, is the truth. I don't care about labels anymore. Don't care about parties anymore. Don't care about who's got the biggest following. All of that crap. All I care about is us finally getting to the truth. And the truth of it is, we lost control of this country a long time ago, and we have to decide when we're ready to take it back. End rant.
Well, I don't know where to take it from there.
That's it, folks. That's the show. Tip your waiters. Just kidding. Well, I mean, we still have other things we can talk about. I was going to try to find the audio, but I couldn't find it. So, Sideshow Bob, otherwise known as Corinne Jean-Air or Corinne Jean-Pierre, actually tried to do a local radio junket today and was so offended.
That was excellent.
And was so offended she hung up on the host after like a minute and a half.
Oh, somebody got fired. Somebody got fired for booking that one.
Oh yeah, whoever booked that, pig slip bitch.
Wasn't it with a conservative radio station?
I'm pretty sure. I don't have the story in front of me anymore. I'll see if I can find it in a second. But yeah,
it was epic. I heard it this morning on a podcast. I'm like, oh my god, she hung up on them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a right-leaning conservative radio show, and he basically
somebody said it was WHT or something like that, or WBT or something like that. And they said they thought it was WBET because that's actually a legitimate radio station, not an online platform or something. And so somebody just made a big old mistake. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yup.
Yeah, but I mean, and I actually heard the clip earlier. I was looking to see if I'm surprised I don't see anybody that's written it up yet. I think maybe Twitchy did. Hang on. Maybe they have it. I know I didn't write it. The only thing I've written so far is the breaking story about Lieberman, but I plan on writing later. No, they don't have it either. The only one they've written up about her today was the whole. Apparently, she said she acted stupid behind the podium again today, so that's not really surprising because she does that pretty much every day. She's behind the podium. But yeah, no, I thought it was epic because, the thing about it is, dude was even trying to be respectful with the question. He was like, "Look, I'm just, this is coming up. This is something that my listeners have been asking me about, and since you're one of the people near the top, are you concerned about Joe Biden's mental fitness?" And next thing you know, she basically tap danced around it for about a minute, and then she moved on to, then she threw a bunch of other stuff at him for another 30 seconds, and then she's like, "And with that, I wish that you have a good day." And click, and bam, 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 bam is the next thing you hear. So she was on what probably would have normally been about a 15-minute segment for 90 seconds before she said, "Screw you guys, I'm giving ham."
Now here's something.
What's up?
So, you start looking through trending and stuff like that. Apparently, the Oregon governor's wife, and the Oregon governor's a woman, just saying, says she is a mentally ill alcoholic days after nepotism scandal exploded over her being given an official job in police detail while facing bullying accusations. Well done, everybody. Well done.
So much fun.
Oh my goodness. Well done, Oregon. Mm-hmm. Everything's going astonishingly well. So, did you hear about this new department that the DOJ announced over the weekend?
I remember hearing something about it, and then it kind of went into...
Well, yeah, because they did it on a Saturday, so nobody should notice. It's the new Red Flag Center, basically, Red Flag Law Center.
Oh, yeah.
They put aside all this money to give states money for implementing red flag laws, and so people can, dial the police about their political opposition to say, hey, we'd like their guns taken away.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like people to stop freaking out, though, about the gun grabbers, because at this point, we have 29 states that have passed constitutional carry.
Yeah, we're the majority.
So in a very quiet but definitive kind of way, the left has lost this argument.
Yep.
Those laws were passed at the state level, so even the blue cities within them can't really do a lot.
But whine and cry. Which they do often.
I'm just saying, like, why can't we just go out and point and laugh at these, rather than getting all paranoid, right? And saying, oh, they're coming for our guns. Well, there's 29 states where you can't.
Dun, dun, dun.
There is literally no room in a constitutional carry state for a red flag law. You can't have that.
Well, the problem is, and this is coming from one of the guys trying to do things down the middle as much as possible, which means I'm a broke bastard swinging for the fences. Fear porn sells on both sides. There's your answer.
Oh, no. I totally understand that. But doesn't winning also sell on our side, like, ever?
No. Because we don't ever see anything as a win unless we get everything we want.
Okay, 29 states having constitutional carry is a win. That is a clear majority.
Yes.
And if we are going to break down along lines of a civil war, I'd rather be on the side with 29.
No, I understand, so please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the people that we have elevated to be the voices within the conservative movement don't view victory unless it's a touchdown. When politics is more akin to the rest of football, it's inches, it's yards, it's how much you can get done in one carry. It's how much you can get done in two carries. But with our side, the people that we have made the dominant voices, if it's not a win on all sides at all times, then we lose. And that's why we have idiots like Matt Gaetz, who were able to depose a Speaker of the House who was doing a decent job with what he had to work with. And we had a much greater majority then than we do now, even though it wasn't a great majority to begin with. And then you have this guy who's there now, who really hasn't done much but pass basically CR after CR after CR, and now they're trying to ram through a short bus, which is mini omnibus, but I call it a short bus because it's retarded. Sorry, and trying to give the other side everything that they want. And I mean, with Republicans like that, who the fuck needs Democrats? I mean, I saw one of your former podcast partners be like, with the shit that's going on right now, I might as well just vote Democrat and speed up the decline because I'm done. And I have to admit, for like a half a second, I agreed with him. So I was like, no, not that far gone yet. Not yet. Close, but not yet. Fun times, anyway. But yeah, just for fun, back to this story that I have. I did find some KGP audio, not the one I was looking for, but this is the other thing that she kind of stepped on all the rakes about today.
Relates to the death of the officer. Look, our hearts go out to this officer who tragically lost his life in the line of duty. We're also praying for his family during this difficult time, who now has an empty seat at their dinner table. President Biden is deeply grateful for the sacrifices police officers make to keep our community safe. This shooting is yet another painful reminder of the toll of gun violence, that what it's doing to inflict on families and our communities and our nation. And that's why the president signed more than 24 executive actions. That's why we're able to pass a bipartisan agreement to deal with the gun violence that we're seeing in this country. Obviously, more work needs to be done. We need Congress to continue to act on making sure that our communities are safe, and again, our hearts go out to this officer and his family. It's a difficult time for them. Okay.
Yeah, so let's make
those same racist police officers that you guys all bashed all during 2020 during the George Floyd riots. I'm sure you are just brokenhearted, Corinne Jean-Pierre. You piece of shit. Number one. Number two. There is no gun law that would have protected that cop because the person who shot them did not own a gun legally. So the only way you do that is if you have criminals that care about the law. And we don't. We know this. So, yeah. Nothing Congress is going to do would have stopped that person from getting a gun.
Well, the other thing that nobody talks about, at least until, somebody pointed it out within this article, is the man who just murdered a police officer had already been arrested 21 times.
Uh-huh. Oh, so you mean we should put criminals in jail?
Yeah. If they actually were focusing on putting criminals behind bars instead of treating them like their best friends, that officer would probably be alive today. I'm just saying. But yeah, so anyway, believe it or not, we're just about out of time. Anything else you want to hit on real quick on the way out the door?
Oh, there's a lot of things I'd like to hit.
That's not exactly what I said, but okay.
Let's see. Shall I make a list? Who would I like to hit first?
Yeah,
I think I ought to just get a T-shirt that says "Dangerous Extremist."
Might as well, because I'm pretty sure we're already. I'm pretty sure we're already in that category.
Just says I'll just on the front it'll say "Let me make this easy for you," and on the back it'll say "Dangerous Extremist."
We need to put that out and put the KLR and radio logo somewhere on there, and just probably could just say it.
You think?
Even the whatever logo would be cool. All right.
Whatever.
Well, why don't you remind folks where they can find you so we can start wrapping this thing up, because I got 3 more hours of this to do. So
you can find me on Twitter @ScottsFire when I'm not so annoyed with having to block porn bots that I actually use the application. Many of you are friends with me on Facebook. You can hear me every Wednesday night here, and every once in a while I post something over at PJ Media.
All right, and I promoted this earlier today and just found out, unfortunately, my information is inaccurate. There will not be a Playing in the Dirt tomorrow. It's going to be next week. So, anyway. All right, so wanted to fix that.
Sorry, there was too much mud.
It's all good. I didn't get my memo, so I tried to promote you guys for once, and I didn't do it right. Anyway.
We just decided, I think, after you promoted us.
Yeah, that's how it works. All right, anyway, so we got to get out of here and make room for the next crew, which I'll be part of. Normally I'm in a back seat, but this is the once a month for Toxic Masculinity, so we'll have the crew for that. We also have our Babe of the Month at Bumpstock Barbie, who'll be joining us. She's actually joining the KLR Radio crew as well. She's going to bring the true crime genre to life here on the network, so that's a niche I've been looking to get into for a while, and I don't have enough interest. I know, weird considering my previous career choices, but don't have enough interest. Anyway, so on that note, you can find me at RowdyRick73 on those social media platforms. You can find me dropping content on Twitchy.com, MisfitsPolitics.com, and TheLoftusParty.com. You can also find me as the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast, which usually drops Tuesday morning sometime around 9 a.m. Eastern. Sorry. And other than that, you can find me here on KLR Radio 5 days a week, doing the Rick Robinson Show, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And then you'll find me for the next 3 hours in one capacity or another here on KLR Radio. And then tomorrow night with Jen and Rick, doing Jen and Rick at 10 p.m. Eastern. Friday night, hanging out with Aggie, filling in for Mickey Blowtorch on He Said, She Said at Aggie time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Saturday night's juxtaposition night. I really got to figure out what we're talking about. I think I had something in the hopper, but I can't find the notes, so I got to go find it. And then hopefully Sunday night, America Off the Rails will be back. Weather screwed me this last Sunday, so I couldn't do the show. But we got to go, because I got to get things set up for the next group. So you guys enjoy what's left of your hump day and your Wednesday evening with us, and stay right here, because Toxic's coming up next. Bye, everybody. Sort of, because I'm coming right back, but still.
Whatever I choose, and I'll sing the bluesy fly ones.